obsessed. I got to get this message to the press. That every day I love you less and less. And every day I love you. I know the pieces fit. I know the pieces fit.
Of the Simply Youth Ministry podcast. This feast for the ears is not for the mentally weak nor the faint of heart. Be warned and stop listening now. Is your soul that thirsty deer? Is your heart that pack of hungry wolves? With reckless abandon do you pursue God's kingdom? Prove to me your motives are pure. Is authenticity your friend? Is integrity your brother? Who then is your pride? Do you know the truth? Do you tell the truth? Not for the mentally weak, not for the faint of heart. Prove to yourself. How do you know you're for real?
Oh,
yes.
Man.
Wow.
Nicely done.
Thank
Hello,
you,
everybody. Doug Fields here with Matt McGill
Hello.
and Josh Griffin.
Hey.
Sitting in today, we have a special guest, Torie Tasha Fields.
Ladies and gentlemen, here she is.
Senior in high school,
Wow.
18 years old, volunteer youth worker. She's got a junior high C group.
That's
Do you
right.
go to volunteer staff meetings, baby?
No.
No.
What?
You've been to one.
That's evil.
The like awards night when they were giving out a free
Did you
car.
win? Did you win anything?
No, I did not.
Oh.
Anyway, here's kind of the thing. This is a little bit of a weird one today
yeah.
because one, it's going to be short.
Very
Two,
short.
Jake just left.
We don't have Jake.
Jake just left. You could see the tension in his face. He didn't
Yes.
see his son yesterday. I arrived, an hour and a half late?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, but you weren't really late. It wasn't like it was your fault.
was
Well,
beyond your
here's
control.
what we said. We said that we were going to do it somewhere between 3 and 5.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I showed up at 5:15.
Yeah. And we're starting now 5:30 at night.
Yeah, and so
Which is
everybody's
not so bad.
gone. We lost
Yeah.
Jake. Jana is in Australia,
Australia, the big down under.
and
Yep.
Natalie is at the American Idol
Is
Festival. I don't know. where
She's just gone, I think. She's working on the catalog, actually.
I thought she was smoking weed somewhere.
Sanjaya's gone.
Simply's new catalog. She's out of the office working on that now.
You're not Sanjaya.
So anyway,
Sanjaya's
Torie
gone,
was
yeah.
just going to sit in on the show.
Yeah, just watch,
and,
hang out.
And because Torie is probably the big fan, I walk into the house sometimes, and when she should be doing homework, she's got my wife's laptop open up and watching the show and squawking in the corner.
Yeah,
so
that's fine.
as soon as Jake left, we said, "Okay, Torie, you're in.
You're in the hot
You're
spot
in."
tonight.
She's in.
It's
She's
been
representing
has it been-
the youth
has
of
it been
America.
2 weeks?
Yeah, 10 days.
Okay, because
days
we
until last show.
recorded one right before Easter.
Right before Easter.
Then Torie and I went to Mexico to do mission work.
That's right.
Well, Torie did.
Mission work.
Um,
By mission
Matt,
work, you converted tacos.
Yeah. Into
Those street
waste.
tacos are delightful.
They are.
Yeah, I actually.
They need the Lord too.
Absolutely.
my family, my entire family, my senior daughter Torie,
Yes.
Jesus
my
was a fisherman.
freshman, my freshman son
He
Cody,
wasn't really. That was
my
a joke.
6th grader Cassie, and my
Yes.
lovely wife Kathy was a village leader.
What grade's
and they
your wife
all
in?
went there, and I got a hotel room,
That is noble.
and I finished my book that I'm writing with Duffy Robbins.
What's
So
the name of that book anyhow? I
It's called
honestly don't know.
Speaking to Teenagers: How to Think About, Create, and Deliver Effective Messages.
Duffy came up with that title, I'm guessing.
Why is that?
That's a long
It's not
title.
a book on how to have great subtitles.
No, it's not a book on subtitles.
Exactly.
Anyway, so I was
It's a
in
book on
Mexico
creative
and I
writing.
Sounds
visited.
good.
I visited a couple
So
nights.
you popped in every once in a while,
Yeah.
but you're kind of writing.
But yes,
Yeah.
it was.
How was
this
missions
trip? It was not run by me.
What?
It was not run by Matt. First year in
Oh,
20 years that either
golly.
myself or Matt didn't run it. So I didn't really feel the need to be there at that one. So anyway,
Yeah.
we're back.
Here we are.
We are
We are.
back. We're
And
an
Kicking the
attack.
Simply Youth Mystery Podcast.
Torie
Ready to roll.
Torie mentioned something about Sanjaya being voted out last night.
Yeah, shocker.
Torie, what 5 words would you use to describe your missions experience?
Ooh, ready?
Go.
Go.
Really?
Yeah, well, that really does not really count.
Different than any other year.
Just a single
One
word.
Different.
This is like the SAT exams.
Different.
She's already been accepted to colleges. She doesn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was different. It was
Like a CAT
hard.
scan.
It was fun. It was.
It was different. It was hard. It was fun.
Mm-hmm. It was challenging.
That's kind of like hard.
But it's two different words.
Okay, it is.
And the last one would be it was
Fulfilling.
fulfilling.
Rewarding?
No, it wasn't. You know what? My
No, it wasn't.
well,
it was not
Here's
fulfilling.
the deal. Tori was a student leader. She was kind of the veteran of her village,
Yeah.
and she just had a rough. She had a rough week.
I was
Really?
hoping this
Was
would
it
be the
tough?
year
I
she
actually
became a
haven't talked about it
Christian.
yet. Was it?
It
Was it
was-
tough?
Yeah, it was.
Did you have some morons in your village?
I just had really, really quiet people in my village that never opened up.
Ooh.
Oh, what's wrong with that?
Death by
I'm just
quietness.
saying.
I was going to
They
say
were
you
all
just
quiet.
described Matt's life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was Matt in high school.
Yep.
All right,
That's why I play
no.
World of Warcraft. You just have to type. You don't talk.
You don't talk to anybody, just
World of Warcraft. Wow.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I was at.
Gerbil Slayer.
The Black Hand server.
I put Gerbil Slayer in my new book.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, you did. I think you
Oh,
told
that
me.
is awesome.
Yeah.
In this teaching how to write
Yeah,
great
I
subtitles book?
used some
As a
comment.
name?
No, I can't
Oh.
remember how I used it, but I kind of giggled to myself and said, "I'm sure this will get edited," but
Oh,
I kind of
that's
hope
funny.
it doesn't.
Fun.
Gerbil Slayer.
Yeah, Gerbil Slayer.
He's
Oh,
powerful.
so anyway, your wife was with us this weekend, and
Yes.
after church, and you
It's
had
nice she
taken
was
the
with
kids
you.
back, and we said, "Mish, do we need to hurry so you can get home?" She goes, "No, are you kidding? Kids are asleep. Matt's playing WoW." And I was like, "Matt's playing WoW, World of Warcraft."
Yes.
Geek
If I could only get her to play.
Would
Wouldn't
that be the ultimate marriage?
Yeah,
It
that's
would
why
be.
the Wii is so popular, because now more women are engaging with the video game consoles.
I know there are several people
No,
in my
just
guild that are
Xbox
married
360.
couples.
Did you hear how she just he just talked
Yes.
video game consoles?
Yeah.
Consoles.
That's how you say it,
I
consoles.
know it just sounded very official.
I thought it was
well,
consoles.
I like video games a lot. We haven't really talked
Like
about
what
video
you
games
do
too
when
much.
Do
people
you
are
play
sad.
World of Warcraft?
No. I play like Gears of War, Halo, kind of the main.
Yeah, games you
Xbox
don't have to
titles.
think on.
Yeah, kind of pull the trigger, kill
Yeah.
people. It's fun.
Tori, what games do you play?
Cat's Cradle.
Yo-yo
I don't.
and hopscotch.
Yeah.
No, what do you play?
Well, you know
I
what? We
don't
just
play.
Guitar Hero?
I
You know
told my
what?
kids.
She's a girl. She does what all girls do,
No,
which is
I-
mind games.
Cody doesn't. Cody doesn't play any
Just
either.
kidding.
Brilliant.
I said
Brilliant.
when they were growing up, all your friends are going to have video games.
Yeah.
You're just not. You're not. It's going to be one of the things that you're going to suck at
You're
in
gonna
life.
be a cool
You can play any
sports dude.
sport. You can play music. You can do whatever you
You'll be
want. You're
funny.
just not going to have.
Yep.
You're not going to have video games in our house.
And I told my kids,
And
I
we
said,
never have.
You're going to be the
You're-
friends of the Fieldses that have those consoles.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're not going to play any
That's it.
sports. You're not going to do
You're going to
anything
like
else.
dark rooms and controllers and video games.
Yeah.
There you go.
Pedro Ramos from New York City.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a question.
Corona,
Wow.
Queens.
Pedro, here we go.
Queens. There's 5. What are they called?
Boroughs.
Boroughs. What are they?
Groundhogs.
Queens. Uptown.
Uptown.
Downtown.
Manhattan.
East Side.
Come on.
Side.
South Side.
No, come on, you
Brooklyn.
guys.
That's LA.
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn's a
Oh,
borough.
That away, Tori.
Queens. Queens was just in that Eddie
Oakland.
Murphy movie. The
Bronx.
Bronx.
There it is. All right, here we go.
Oh.
I have a question. I have a friend of mine.
Bronx
He's Christian
cheer.
illusionist Brock Gill,
Christian illusionist.
as opposed to non-Christian illusionist. And he, along with other friends, do a 3-day event where they do stunts, escapes, BMX tricks, and music with the purpose of presenting the gospel. He calls it creative evangelism. I think it's chim. I've been practicing to do the same. Locally, that is. Some brothers and sisters do not agree. They think that magic is from the devil. If you look up the definition, you will find many. One is the art of entertaining, which we all know. But I do believe that Brock is God-driven. And you know what? It's effective. You see the fruit when lives, teenagers, families are converted. Now, this would be an example of one that, had I prepared the show,
You wouldn't have done this
I
question?
wouldn't have done this question.
Really?
Because
Yeah.
you would have just said
Well,
that's absurd, or what?
No, I
Well,
would have
here's-
thought this doesn't really. This would fall under the category of too thin of a slice.
Okay, well, we can open
like
the
of
question up,
100
though.
people.
No,
were
but how many
listening.
youth pastors are dealing with parents and stuff that say, "Oh, don't go to a Harry Potter movie that's got magic"? I mean, I thought that would be something that
Well, no, you know what, Matt? I am so thankful that you prepped
Yes.
the show, and I'm reading these for the first time.
I
I
know.
just thought this would be an example of one I would have
Well,
went.
Okay, well, let me say the one thing that I had on this.
Yeah, go
This
ahead.
is one thing. Is that his last line, he says, "But it's effective." And what I was going to say to that is that I don't think you can judge whether or not a ministry is right or wrong just because it's effective. I don't think that's right. I don't think the ends necessarily justify the means. Now, I happen to think that if someone wants to do magic tricks for evangelism, while that's probably corny in a lot of situations, of course not this situation, but I don't think you could say, oh, you know what, it's great because it works. I just think that's faulty thinking.
Because Paul said anybody preaches the gospel with impure motives would what?
Yeah, it's in the beginning of Philippians there, that at least the gospel's still being preached.
Yeah, it's not Philippians, though.
Sure, he talks about motives in Philippians.
All right, so the gospel's still being preached even though it's impure motives. Is it Philippians? I read Philippians today.
I was thinking Galatians, but whatever.
I think there's two of those.
I think actually the question is less about black magic and illusions and whatever than it is more about entertainment. To me, the question is more about how big of a show and how fun and lights and BMXs and hot air balloons and whatever.
Yeah,
and
it's
the gospel's
entertainment.
And the gospel's in there like here, but I think maybe the question is less about Harry Potter and it is more about an entertainment, a show that also has Jesus in it.
Well, I think his point is they think magic is of the devil.
Yes. Yeah, that was.
I just think it's an illusion.
Yeah, those are people you don't need to talk to.
Yeah, most people don't care about that.
Yeah, it's the real thin slice. Next question.
Tori, what do you think? I do magic around the house.
Right.
Do you want to talk about that?
You used magic in in 3 sermons. Each one you had a magic trick.
An amazing trick.
Yeah.
And what was it? My 5th grade birthday party?
5th grade? Were you that old?
Or no, 5-year-old.
Yeah, 5-year-old.
5-year-old birthday party was.
Did he dress up like a clown?
No, but he just pulled out his magic tricks and his doves, and he was like,
Doug the Magician. Oh, yeah.
I
was Job from Arrested Development.
You did a flaming wallet one that was brilliant. I love that one. That one always gets me.
And then you cut somebody in half on stage. That was awesome.
And there was also a gospel presentation in there, too. So
we're broken without Jesus.
Jeremy Watt.
Heaven is not an illusion.
Jeremy Watt, this is an edited email.
Oh. Well, I edited almost all of them. I just wanted you to know that.
Okay.
So if it's
choppy.
choppy.
So I don't need to read edited email?
Well, you can.
But you know what I feel a little bit bad about?
What's
and
that?
I need to apologize to Kevin Massey because the last 2 times we've said...
Oh, no.
I left the emails in my home office.
And we said we have to start with Kevin Massey.
I know.
And
I left him in my home office.
Well, let's just do a moment of silence for Kevin.
How much sweeter is episode 50 next week going to be? Episode 50, guys. Starting with Kevin Massey's
Yeah, we need
email.
to make sure that Natalie's in town and not working on...
Yeah.
Natalie needs to be here for our 50th.
We got such big plans. It's going to be so
What are you doing?
We have no idea.
I can't tell you.
Secret.
We've been saying that, sweetheart, but no, we haven't even thought about it. What we should do...
as much a secret as what's in that box.
Why don't we do this? Why don't we have people write in suggestions for the 50th show?
Yes, and prep our show for us, please.
And the one that gives us the best idea, we will give them 50
We'll give
products.
them Brazel's hairpiece.
50 products. This is great. Okay, so Andy's not here today because obviously it's after work hours. Everybody's gone. So we can give away whatever we want. 50 products.
If they send in the best idea. That's podcast at simplyyouthministry.com. And questions.
Yep.
Although I'm going to go back to the well next week. Thank you for prepping.
I
will prep. I'll prep.
So
I just feel more like I read
It's hard when you do it for somebody else. And I was supposed to get it to you at the end of the day yesterday.
You know what?
And I
You
didn't
did
get
a
it to
fine
you.
job. Here we go. I know that having a balance between ministry and family is very important, and I work really hard at that. And right now, when my kids are still very young, I know this balance is mostly for my relationship with my wife. And right now, but down the road, when my kids are older, I want us to have the tight relationship where they know they can come to me with anything.
Well, that's a good question.
There is no question.
Kind of a thin
statement.
Kind of a thin slice.
Oh, you know what? At the end of it, he says, I want your opinion on this. I edited that out.
We edited the only
This is going to be a
part.
shorter podcast than we thought it was going to be. Matt, once again, for the 3rd time, I want to say thank you for prepping this for me. So,
oh, man. Can you believe that I actually read these for like 45 minutes today?
I can believe it. I can believe it.
Oh, man.
So, in my opinion, yeah.
It was family balance question, you know?
Yeah.
Well,
you know
we
what?
talked about
Tori lets you and I talk. We have a tight relationship. Could you come to me with anything?
Yes.
How come?
How come?
Yeah.
5 words.
No.
Just kidding.
What do you mean, how come? Just because.
Well, a lot of kids can't go to their parents to talk about anything.
Because most of their parents are.
Don't say it.
I was going to. Most of their parents are silly.
So
That's
what
it,
characteristics do
What five
the parents have that your dad doesn't have? Or what characteristics does your dad have that they don't?
Well, let's just say, if your mom's wearing mom jeans. And
Mom jeans.
Put on your mom jeans. If your mom's got mom jeans on, you're not going to want to bring up anything around your mom.
That's wisdom.
Said
That
from
is
an 18-year-old.
Said, man.
Okay, but let's talk
So,
about
mothers out there?
balance between
But Dad,
ministry
your hair
and family.
does look extra flowy today, by the
Flowy?
way.
You know what,
Yeah,
I did-
doesn't it?
Yeah, I was
didn't-
gonna say it looks flat.
I didn't put any gel in
It
today.
looks
Oh.
just...
It's actually in your eyes.
It's
a little
5 hour
bit.
flat. 5 o'clock flat.
Tori,
5
let's
o'clock.
talk about this
5
because
o'clock.
you are a
That's what I meant to
PK,
Right.
and you've grown up as your dad is a youth
Now,
pastor. Your
everyone
whole,
might
your
not know
whole
what that
life.
stands for. What is
Pastor's
that?
kid?
Oh,
PK
PK
that's right.
stands for black magic. Oh, wait, thin slice. My bad.
And the balance between ministry and family. Let's just go ahead and just spontaneously 2 things that your mom and dad have done right and 2 things that they've done wrong.
Oh, that's hard to do the 2 things you've done wrong.
Yeah, I don't...
Really?
Yeah.
I
I
can-
mean,
I
if this
can
wasn't
feed you
being
some if you want.
recorded,
Huh?
I think so. I don't know.
Well, I don't know.
I mean, Tori's mentally tough.
Let's just try.
I'm
Let's
not
try.
afraid of the truth. I heard your introduction.
That's right. I
You
love
can't
that
handle
intro.
the truth. Here we go.
Wait, but since I'm not a parent, I don't know, like, what the
Why are your
steps
parents
were.
approachable?
Because... I'm sorry.
It's hard.
See, Jake should be here.
It's
Well,
hard to put you on the spot.
it
This
is
is a
hard.
tough.
These are
This
tough.
is a tough one to say on the spot because it's something that you've lived with for your whole life.
Right.
You don't
Your
know
parents
life
have
any
always.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've
Okay,
never.
well, let's talk about some things, and you
Yeah.
can chime in if you want. I would
Okay.
say that.
I'd rather
Um,
talk about Sanjaya, honestly.
Gone.
Okay, keep going.
Yeah.
Talk about flowy hair.
Oh yeah.
Beautiful, man.
Okay, I don't know anything about singing. Like,
Yes.
but here's true life. Well, you guys know this. I'll be sitting next to Kathy in church, and somebody will be singing,
Mm.
and I'll say, "Do they have a good voice or not?"
Yes.
I do not know. Like this
It's
lady, I
hard to
did a
tell.
funeral on
Ugh.
on Saturday. Tori was there. I did a funeral on Saturday for Cody's coach's mom, and I said,
You did
the-
solo.
There was a woman who sang,
man.
and I was saying how great she was. And I came up and I go, oh, because it was a volunteer from our church. I said, oh, I was just loving on her and giving her a hug.
So on the
Thank
mic, you said you did a great job.
No.
No.
I
okay.
just said to her, thank you
Afterwards.
so much for serving the
okay.
whole
Yeah.
bit. And then I came up to Kathy and Tori and I said, wasn't she great? And they were both like, oh, no.
She was horrible.
Didn't you actually say she sounded like death warmed over?
Yes.
Just kidding.
So Doug is tone
Okay.
deaf.
So anyway,
Yeah.
Okay, does this sound good to you? Yes or no? The hills are alive.
no, my point was I was going to say I watched Sanjaya last night.
And know
And
that
you
he
knew-
And I
sounded-
knew that he didn't sound good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
he
if
was
I
pretty
can tell,
terrible.
you shouldn't be on.
But I like his choice of songs. Give him something to talk about. I think that's.
Did
that's
you
pretty
hear his
sweet.
song last night? His ending was, let's give him something to talk about. Not about hair, hair, hair. Did you hear that?
No, that's
Yeah.
funny. Really?
That was really
Okay,
good,
let's
by
get
the
back
way.
to this
You
guy's
can
All right,
shave
back
his
to the
head.
podcast.
balance between ministry and family. We talk about this a lot. I would encourage anybody to read What Matters Most.
Yeah. Do you
And-
think he's missing it though right now? Because he's talking about he's not investing time with his kids right now. To
Well,
me, I mean, I got young kids.
It was like what we just experienced with Jake.
Yeah, his
I mean,
kids- his
you
kids
could
are
see the
kids.
grieving on Jake's, and if
Yeah.
we would have turned the knife on Jake a little bit,
Yeah,
he'd have stayed.
He'd have stayed. on.
Totally.
He'd have
Yeah.
stayed. But I said to him, Jake, I haven't missed. I would never miss one of my kids' innings or pitches or soccer games or anything
Yes.
because of work.
Yep.
And I said, go. I have a meeting tomorrow at 1, and a guy comes up to me and he goes, hey, is there any way that I can leave by 3 because my son has a baseball game? And I said, my son has a baseball game at 3 too, and believe me,
We will be done.
yeah, I have
That's
I've
awesome.
never missed a first pitch.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Is he
You
pitching
can you
tomorrow?
can leave as long as my son strikes your son out.
But I mean, I think it starts early. You've got to start
Well, it's
right
habits.
now.
You're developing habits.
And it's
Yeah.
not just for your wife; it's for your kids. I mean, I was reading an article in the waiting room, and it was about kids not needing genius toys. It was about kids needing the ears and eyes and the voice of a parent.
So I can't
I-
just give them money and they won't be happy.
I just thought it was great, though. It was saying you need to spend quality time with your kids, even as an infant. I mean, if you're setting the precedence for your whole ministry life right
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
I don't know. Do not feel guilty about that.
Yeah, it's a tough one because there's times where, like, I could say I don't miss my kids' events. I go to everything they do. But there have been times when I'm making something up at night, and one of my kids would come into my office, kind of like, "Hey, can you help me with your homework? My homework?" And I'm, no. And so that may be the memory that Torie has, is that Dad wasn't there for me with homework. One time when the reason I had to make it up is because I left at 2 from the office to get to a 2:30 game, and
well, we all know sports are more important than academics anyway.
Absolutely.
So not a tough call as a parent.
Absolutely. In the Fields family anyway. Right, Tor?
Right.
Well, or a video game tournament in the Griffin family.
But if Torie wanted to practice some new stand-up material she was working on, you'd drop everything.
Oh.
I think Torie should
work on stand-up material.
Yes.
Go on tour with Brian Regan, it'd be great.
She's going to her first comedy show tomorrow night, and I'm very excited for her.
Fantastic.
Josh, high five.
High five on that. It's going to be amazing.
What are you doing tomorrow night? You can't go.
Yeah,
Torie,
you should
okay,
go.
here's a family situation. Great.
All right, let's hear it.
You can't get away from the
now,
family.
was this planned? Because that feels pretty...
No.
Yeah.
Nope.
Okay.
Is anything planned?
That's true. Matt Cast.
Am I allowed to belch on this show?
No.
I got the
he'll
nicks
pat your
on
shoulder
that.
like
Yeah.
this.
First,
if you have
It's
to.
unprofessional.
Sorry.
And it just reinforces the
The
stereotype that
stereotypes
youth
and-
workers
yeah.
they don't have it together.
But I'm a pastor's kid.
episodes 1 through 5.
It would also
Yeah, 1
reinforce
through
the
50,
stereotype
yeah.
of pastors' kids.
So
Great. So, okay, tomorrow night you're not going to this Brian Regan
Simply
comedy
Youth
show.
Ministry
Yeah.
staff is going to a comedy show tomorrow night.
Super fun.
Fields family got 3 tickets. Doug, Kathy, Torie. She's 18. We're
Doug,
excited
Kathy,
about
Torie.
it. But
The other
Cassie,
two
my
kids that you don't
youngest,
love as much.
Yep, favorite child.
Cassie, my
Favorite child.
my youngest is at science camp. Comes home from science camp tomorrow. She's been gone since Monday, and so we did not feel like we should
Have her
welcome
come
back
home to
from
an empty
science camp
house.
to
And you don't want to
babysit.
miss Cody's baseball game.
We could have done both.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
there's not a chance I would miss Cody's baseball game.
So,
Oh.
Yeah.
you're saying family is more important than a night out with other people, with friends, a good, fun night out.
Easy decision.
Yeah.
But
Easy.
family or Brian Regan? Oh.
It's kind of a toss-up, but I still respect you more for staying home.
Leah,
I'm having a really fun time out.
she had an email
Dear
before that
Lord.
wasn't answered. Oh, okay.
Dear Lord, please let this be a good question.
Yeah.
Thin slice, Matt.
We have been having many discussions about the youth ministry in our church because it seemed that myself and both of our church's pastors all have somewhat different visions for the ministry. Anyways, that along with the joy and heartbreak of seeing one of our students head to rehab for a crack addiction and having one of our volunteer staff go MIA for the last month and countless other little issues.
One of them took up smoking.
I've got to
apparently.
stop smoking.
Wow.
I have been very stressed. To top it off, our church leadership met last week to discuss the youth ministry. Though I am the point leader for the ministry, I was not included in this discussion where a number of decisions and changes were made. It's been a stressful time and with much prayer and tears. Listening to your podcast has been a great time to clear my mind of the stress and get some encouragement and re-energizing.
Yeah.
Thanks for all you do.
Is
You
there
guys
still no
rock.
question?
No question.
Matt edited the question.
This will be the last time.
Oh,
I mean, I think it's been the first time since like episode 18.
I prepped like 2, and I did a good job on one of them.
Yeah.
You're,
now this
you're 1
third
for
one.
3. That's in baseball. That's fine.
Yeah. Leah.
I just felt bad because she emailed before, and she said you didn't get to it, and that's okay.
Yeah, well, and there wasn't a question. Maybe there wasn't a question
Dang.
last time.
Ugh.
But you know what? Leah from St. Catharines, Ontario.
We love Canadians.
Yeah, and you know what, though? I mean, my heart breaks for that sentence right there. I'm the leader of the ministry, and I wasn't included.
Yeah, that
Phew,
really
that's
bummed me
tough.
Yeah.
out. Okay.
Well, maybe that's the question, though. What does she do now?
I don't know, Lee, if I feel more bad for you or for me right
She's
now.
been left out. Now what? Now what does she do? She's been
Yeah.
left out.
I say burn the church down.
Become an arsonist.
That's right.
Don't you
Torie,
think?
can you talk about your cocaine addiction?
Addition?
Dang it.
Yeah, it's right next to
Don't-
it.
don't you-
Marijuana subtraction.
That's pretty quick.
Hey, but you know what? We're going to get emails now about you shouldn't joke about drugs.
I know, and I simulated
And
having a
you
cigarette in my
shouldn't-
mouth too.
yeah.
And this is,
got
and Brian
stuff
Regan
stuck.
probably has some material that isn't good.
and
now
people
we're
don't
in
even
real
know
trouble.
who Brian Regan is. Okay, listen.
Brian Regan's great. He's clean.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, someone's gonna say it's all
As
black
clean
magic.
as Andrew Dice Clay.
Very clear.
Just
Hey,
kidding.
Very
80s.
underrated.
Yeah, I saw news. He's trying to make a comeback.
Wait.
It's the worst.
So what?
Isn't he the guy that would do the cigarette thing? That's
Yeah, and he's
I
like a
can't even twist my
rockabilly
mind.
guy,
Yeah,
and
Purple Tunnel.
he was horrible.
Yeah. Bottom line, she's got to go. She's got to go talk to the senior pastor.
Yeah, if that happened to
supervisor.
me, I would pull somebody aside and say, "Boy, the last time we had talked, I was the head of this ministry, and it
Yeah.
seems odd that you'd
Yeah.
have discussions about the
Yeah.
direction and
Yeah.
changes without me there." Can
And it could be a misunderstanding. Things could have gotten blown out of proportion, or you could be absolutely right, and it's going to require a confrontation.
Well, or maybe
there's
you need a job.
There's stuff that is flying around from a kid going to rehab and a volunteer going MIA, and maybe some people got together and said, "What is happening?"
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that is a tough one.
And maybe it was a prayer. Maybe they got together just to pray for the ministry. You don't know that necessarily it was to evict you or to cast blame.
Yeah, but
But it probably
she's
was.
also
so
talking about the church, so
Yeah, I bet you they got together to plan a special
Surprise
creative
party.
evangelism magic night.
a surprise party
For
or a
her.
prayer time.
throw a little BMX in there and you got an event.
Yes.
Hola, my name is Hector, and I'm the
very
youth
effective.
leader
Hector.
pastor at Iglesia La Vina in Laguna Niguel, California.
Pedro and Hector on the show so far.
It's a little Napoleon
Why are you
Dynamite
laughing?
going.
No, because that was like, what was that? Let's call
These-
it all the Hispanics that have written it.
It's just
Pedro
interesting.
and Hector, guys.
Pedro and Hector. And Julio
I
will
actually
be next.
live just across from Saddleback Church. I want you to know that I really
Please
enjoy
be
the
a question.
craziness of your podcast and
fun.
that your advices are
crazy.
very insightful.
Zany.
I had a couple of questions, an easy and difficult one. There you go.
We got two questions. Here we go.
That was a hard slap because I'm actually excited. There's questions.
His hand is
I
tingling.
know.
Here we go.
Well, you know what? Have I ever told you stories about when Matt was an intern and we would
few.
work? We'd be like midnight or something like that. We'd be at the church office trying to
Ugh.
get some done for a camp or something like that. And Matt would go to the bathroom, and then I would go in the church, and I would get underneath a chair or a desk or something like that, and I would jump out to scare him.
Uh-huh.
And Matt was so violent. He would just swing at me or push me and grab. One time he grabbed my arm and twisted it backwards. I thought I would have to go to the hospital.
Oh gosh.
Isn't that true? When you
It's
get
totally
a lot of
true.
adrenaline, like just then, you little.
I have a warrior mentality.
You are.
Yes.
You
You
are.
are. You're the wounded healer.
Leonidas.
I am.
Wait, what's the?
Wounded healer.
No,
The wounded healer?
I was trying to think of the warrior.
wounded-
What's the guy from Colorado that writes the men's books about everybody? Every guy's
Oh.
a warrior. John Elridge.
Yeah.
Every man's.
He doesn't deserve a name.
Yeah.
No, he's got a.
So anyhow,
No, no.
Julio wrote.
A Mosaic
Well-
guy wrote something too.
Hector. His name's Hector.
Hector.
Yeah, Hector.
Wrote in and
No,
said
Hector didn't write the book.
2 questions, a simple one and a hard one.
Easy
Here we
question.
go.
Since I minister to the Hispanics, I would like to know how I can get all of the resources that you mentioned in a past podcast are available in Spanish. Piece of cake. Hector, since you are a pastor in Laguna Niguel, you're 10 miles from here. Just drive down here and talk to Jack.
Yep.
Call Jack up and
Jack.
say, Jack,
Don't ask him about the Civil War, Hector.
No, don't ask him about the Civil War.
Model airplanes.
Model airplanes.
The aliens on the P-42.
Don't ask him about like U.S. policy, like global policy, that's,
or UFOs.
or any kind of
no,
politics
I've never
question.
heard UFO
That's messed
stuff.
up.
Anything
Yeah.
related to politics.
The Hindenburg
Yeah,
is
politics.
I've never heard the Hindenburg.
That's a big.
Actually,
it's a
Jack doesn't
Hindenburg.
listen. Jack is my father-in-law.
a big one. Yeah, we can really say whatever
Torie's
we want.
grandpa, because he
My
doesn't
papa.
listen to
Never
this.
listen to the show.
But we sometimes at different gatherings, people be at our house and stuff like this. We will set them up and we'll just say, "Hey, you got to go over
Yeah.
there and ask Jack about.
Right.
Ask him to describe his favorite moment of World War II."
Yeah,
And then like 2 hours later, that person's still in the corner.
that's awesome.
Okay, here's the difficult
All right.
question. I
There's
recently
2 world
was.
wars.
Wait, what was the first? Oh, yeah, Spanish.
Translation.
I was recently
Oh, this is brilliant.
confronted by one of the parents who said that I'm an irresponsible youth leader since I have been teaching the kids how to drive in my little Honda around the church parking lot after the youth group meetings. Still, I know for a fact that most of the kids are already driving their parents' cars around the block of their houses. So, am I doing wrong? And what would you say to the parents?
Is that great or what? There might be a narrow
This
slice
is not a
on it.
thin slice at all. Everybody experiences this at some point in their ministry.
So, Doug, would you
Well-
like Doug Elliott to teach your daughters how to drive?
I would say this, that one of my favorite memories of growing up at church, at First Presbyterian Church of Orange, is when one of the leaders, when I was in junior high, let me drive her car around the church parking
Her
lot.
car. Was it only you two in the car?
Back
Possibly.
then, it was way different.
Yeah. Plus, when I was a junior higher, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Things were way different.
That was like
back then.
400
Even
years
when
ago,
I was in
yeah.
high school, it wasn't like that. It was weird.
yeah.
Today, yeah.
Yeah, but the fact that you know that, Torie, as a junior high leader, that you're not
Right.
alone with the opposite sex.
Right.
Unless you're making out with them, then it's totally cool.
Totally fine.
What junior hire would you like to make out with?
Five chances.
5 names.
5 names. Oh gosh.
Now, do you guys think this show will make it to the air?
Not a
Will
chance.
we put this on the podcast?
So far, have we even? How far
I
are
think
we?
it's 30 minutes.
No way.
This is one of the best.
Is it? Okay.
Wait,
I would say this, Hector. I would say if kids don't have their permit and they don't have their driver's license, in today's litigation happy society, I would not do that or advise that. And if you were on my youth ministry team and a volunteer, I would say, please don't do that. Now, saying that, do I think that's a cool kid thing for the kid? Absolutely.
Totally.
Sure
Absolutely.
it is.
And if the parents are cool with it, I mean, I think getting the parents' permission first is pretty
Permission
important.
slip.
Yeah,
Yeah,
permission
some
slip
kind of
would
a
be
release
good.
form,
Have you ever
yeah.
filled one of those out?
Mhm.
No.
For your dad, have you
I
ever
happen
filled one
to-
out and forged
I
his
happen
signature?
to know that you have never filled
You know
one out
what?
A
ever.
permission slip?
When you were at Hume Lake, your freshman year or sophomore year, we go to summer camp. We take all these kids to summer camp. Every single kid has a permission slip except Torie Fields.
Oh, and you need like 3 permission slips for Hume Lake. I
Well,
mean, it's like-
all the
yeah.
administration people come out to Jamie or whoever's running the camp and say, "Oh, there's this one girl in the room." She's like,
I don't remember that.
It's like 1,000 kids at Hume Lake. It's a bunch of churches show up,
Yeah.
and there's one kid that doesn't have it.
that's our youth pastor's daughter."
Yes.
All right.
Sinjaya!
This is from Ruben Cinema,
1, 2, 3,
Ooh.
junior high boys.
youth director, Stephenville Christian Reformed Church, Stephenville, Texas. My situation / question. I'm 2/3 the way through my first year of full-time youth ministry and wondering about benefits. My wife and I really feel called to this church, and we love the people dearly. I love my pastors, students, and volunteers, but I signed a 1-year contract with no health insurance or any other benefits. Church council members have assured me they will keep me for another year, but I'm wondering if I should hold out for health insurance. We kind of feel like we're getting a little bit of the shaft because the senior pastor has full benefits, parsonage, health care, Social Security, etc., while we don't get anything. This is almost a bigger frustration for my wife than it is for me, so much to the point that she wants to leave and never come back. Maybe that was a bit exaggerated. So should I look for another job? I'd really like to be here at least 2 years or more. Am I getting the shaft? Is my concern legit? 2/3 of the way through his first year.
He's got no insurance.
yeah.
He's going to work another year. Should he have insurance?
Well, we don't know a lot of the situation because part of me says, is the wife working and does the wife have insurance?
That's an
Right.
important
Do they
question.
have kids? So is my concern legit? Absolutely, it's legit. Now, the other thing is...
You could say it's too legit.
Too
Too
legit. I was
legit to
thinking
quit?
that too. Too legit to quit. Hey, hey!
what I would say is, my brother, you signed knowing that.
Right.
So that's always the gig in...
Yeah.
Right.
And
You knew this
Forget
going in.
forget insurance. Let's just go to salary. Let's go to anything. It is
Yeah.
that the parable of the
You
guy
worked.
that works and gets paid for a full day, and one guy works for a little bit of a day and gets paid the same. My response to this guy, or to anybody, listen, man, when you sign up for something, I made a commitment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This salary, don't begrudge it. Now,
Yep.
you have an opportunity for year 2. And if it's a big deal to your wife that you want health insurance, then I would say absolutely.
Yeah.
That's the deal breaker.
Well, I think you fill in the blanks here. She doesn't have health insurance, and they're early in ministry. Quite possibly they want to have kids. This does feel like something that's super important to their family, to her, to their
Yeah.
family.
Yeah,
So
well, and yes.
I think that's the deal. I think you go into the negotiation for year 2 saying, we need health insurance. Now, you have to decide whether or not it's a deal breaker.
Yeah.
Is it enough to say, we can't stay in this
Well, if
ministry?
his wife is feeling that way, I would say another year of frustration, that is the deal breaker.
Yeah.
Now, he makes a comment here that I would say is a little bit of a young youth worker comment, which is
The
which
shaft?
is totally okay.
How many times did you talk about the shaft?
We kind of feel like we're getting a little bit of the shaft because the senior pastor has full benefits. Let me say this to my young youth ministry friends.
Yeah.
Duh.
This will be with you the rest of your life.
Well, let's
Learn
put it this
early.
way. I've been a youth pastor for 25 years. Okay, the same amount of time that my senior pastor has been at Saddleback.
Yeah, but your senior pastor was Rick Warren.
But
I know, I'm
what the
just
point
kidding.
is this, is that I'm never going to give the same perks or benefits
Yeah, not a chance.
that he gets. He's the senior
Right.
pastor.
I
And if
bet.
I was the senior
And he's
pastor,
Rick Warren.
well, it doesn't matter. It's just this.
No,
it's
But
senior
the conference
pastor.
budget, the expense accounts, the
He's
part,
the
it's
senior
all going
pastor.
to be different.
It's not
forever.
equal. That he feels the burden for everything.
But this does say a little bit about the value the congregation places on student ministry. If they won't fund the
Which
position
is
fully,
that's
more of a whole church issue.
well, it's a whole church. Like 90% of the churches
Oh, yeah.
are not going to fund youth ministry the way they fund
Well, and I
other
think
ministries.
there's another angle too, or at least another question, or
It'd be nice to have another question.
yeah, it would be nice. to have
probably
another
been
question. Is how much do you sacrifice for your ministry? You know, I mean,
Right.
we look at ministry as like, hey, this is a life of sacrifice, or we need to be able to give up things for God, and that's a tough thing. Where do you draw the line? How much do you give up? Can you believe I'm saying something serious?
No, I'm belching. I'm keeping it under wraps.
That's good.
awesome.
That's good.
quiet.
But I mean, I think that's a good thing. How much are you willing to sacrifice? How much are you willing to give
Yeah.
up for what you're doing?
Man, you remember the PDYM a few years ago when we kind of ended our conference with some Q&A, and it kind of ended tense because I was making so many pro-family statements, and the guy says, you know, isn't family supposed to sacrifice?
Oh,
Remember,
that-
he kind of went
that
after me a little bit.
dude.
He's
And-
probably the guy that wrote poorly about the podcast.
Yeah, he's the
right?
guy who's
Well,
now working at
and-
the post office.
Well, he
'cause
would have many
molested
different names
somebody.
because a lot of people have written poorly about the podcast.
So
But
many.
it doesn't stop us.
That's right. This show will
We
be
just
on
pack
the air.
it jam full of content and questions. Questions, people.
This is so bad.
This is
show,
great.
This show will not.
I
make it on the
guarantee
air.
this
No,
will be
this
one of
is
the
a
favorite
fun show.
episodes.
This is
I
great.
guarantee.
This will be one of the favorites.
Yes,
No,
guaranteed.
really.
And I'm
Yeah,
trying to
right.
speak less definitive,
That's guaranteed.
and so
I
it's very hard for
guarantee
me
it.
to do that
It's
right
probably
now.
because I'm the hottest girl you've had on this show.
Yeah.
Yes.
Say a little. Yeah.
Yes, that's what
true.
all.
Um,
Yes.
But here's the deal: is
I just
that
gave the camera
the-
cross eyes.
You did not. Give him that
You know
face
what,
that
Tori,
you give
we
on every
gotta-
picture.
I have a little aside because I was looking at a camera last night that Tori took with some of the girls in her C group. Tori is one of the greatest face makers in the history of.
Aww.
She makes the greatest faces. We need to put a couple up on the website.
Let's do it. Let's link
It's
to him this
links.
week. Let's do
Some
it.
of them that she makes, she gets to a point where she gets like 9 chins and her eyes go cross-eyed and anyway,
She's got a double jointed face.
the deal of sacrifice
Yeah.
is when he said, "Oh, shouldn't anybody, all ministry
Oh, I
families?"
remember that guy.
And my response was, "We do sacrifice.
Absolutely.
There is a sacrifice
Yeah.
to be in full-time ministry or even to be in part-time ministry. There is a sacrifice that when I drive Tori to youth group and she wants to have a conversation with Dad afterwards, that there's also 20 other kids that want to have a
Right.
conversation, or sacrifice that we don't go anywhere without being, interrupted. I mean, there
Yeah.
is sacrifices, and that's
Right.
Except when it's Rod Carew.
oh, sweetheart, great idea.
That was a good story.
That is a good story. Rod Carew.
Hmm.
I haven't told you yet. I haven't told Josh yet. Hey, first
I'm
of
in.
all,
Do you know who Rod Carew is?
what-
No clue.
Adam Sandler song? Converted Jew. Rod Carew.
Okay.
Okay.
What
Nothing.
what is
I got
okay?
nothing.
Now
I'm sure a
now
lot
I
of
now I
people
don't
did.
care if this show gets on because this is I'm so excited to tell you.
This show's
All
gonna be
right.
on.
It's okay. Who
All right.
was the Hall of Famer who recognized me at Chipotle?
Michael Chang.
Michael Chang. Remember how blown
True
away
story.
you were?
Hall of Famer.
He.
Tennis
Oh
Hall
yeah.
of Fame.
Dave
World
Tennis
champion.
Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Golfer.
Well,
Wasn't he? No?
It's
Tennis.
just rackets, for
Tennis.
goodness
We're,
sakes.
we're eating at Chipotle. We've told the story before,
Yeah.
but we're sitting there and he's like, "Hey, it's
Well,
Michael
we don't
Chang
need to
over
hear
here,
the
blah blah
story
blah." And then Michael Chang walks over, "Hey, Pastor Doug, blah blah blah," and that was unbelievable.
Yeah, Josh's eyes.
And
Anyway,
then I stood up and quickly
I
shook
paid
him.
him.
$5. All right. Here. So okay,
we're
Michael
at,
Chang.
we're at Wahoo's the other night,
Yeah.
and it's just it's my family and
Bella and Papa.
my in-laws.
Okay.
And I'm refilling my drink, walking back to my chair, and this guy comes up to me and says, "Pastor," and shakes my hand, and I look at him. He's an African-American man. He's wearing a hat, golf shirt, and the whole bit. And he goes, "My name is Rod." And I go, "Rod Carew?" And I bowed down. When I was a kid, Rod Carew was famous angel. He's in the Hall of Fame.
Like not an angel,
No
literal
way.
angel.
No, he was on the
Like an
Minnesota
Aniston.
Twins,
Yeah.
traded to the
California
Angels.
yeah.
And
The Los Angeles Angels.
of Anaheim.
Mhm.
And so I was like in awe. And
Oh,
so it was
man.
number 2. I was thinking, Josh.
I
So did you
know.
get a signature or anything? What do they call
Well, here's
it?
the thing.
Signature?
Yeah,
Cody
what's
wasn't
autograph?
Cody wasn't
Autograph.
back from Mexico yet. His caravan
So
was
he
late.
missed this?
So I run
He
to
was the only one in
Saddleback.
the family.
I run to
no.
Saddleback to get him. Kind of
Before he finishes his dinner.
race back, and they're driving away in the parking lot.
He didn't wait for you?
No.
I didn't ask him to. We
Well,
just
he stole a lot of bases.
he did. He was very
So
sneaky
he was
man.
gone like that.
Very sneaky
Yeah.
man.
Sneaky.
Very.
So I was thinking that maybe he didn't
That's
pay for his meal.
fantastic.
Yeah, it was fun.
Wow.
But of
So-
all the kids, all the people in your family, actually, wouldn't Cody be the one who would care the least about meeting somebody? I mean, I'm now just asking. I don't know.
Not an athlete.
Not an
Not an
athlete.
athlete.
Matt's not being definitive right now. He's just asking a question.
Yeah. I truly don't know.
Speaking
that.
of definitive, this is from Tim at
Did we finish
Peshtigo,
sacrifice
Wisconsin.
Doesn't
Oh,
matter.
goodness.
Not even a good question.
thing? Wisconsin.
That's
Yeah.
where you're from, right?
Midwest. My wife's family's from
That
Wisconsin.
Homer the Cheese
Under
or
the
something.
title, Matt was wrong.
Oh, this is important.
So now
This will be edited.
Yeah.
Now that I've been called out by Matt in front of the entire youth ministry world, I feel compelled to prove my point that youth
Ooh.
pastors produce legal documents when they write down the content of conversations that they have. So this goes back to a couple episodes ago where you
Yeah.
kind of said that's not a legal document.
Yeah.
Blah, blah.
What's not a legal document?
It really doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yeah.
I double checked it with our local DA, and he said that when
That's
someone
district attorney.
in a
Wow.
pastoral position paid by the church writes down the content of their pastoral counseling conversation, they are producing a legal document in the sense that it is a confidential document. This document could be subpoenaed and used in civil
What's
or
that a
criminal
problem with that word?
proceedings.
Wow.
The legal confidentiality that is breached in the case of an unauthorized person reading this document is the pastor, parishioner, or priest penitent confidential relationship.
Could we just put this on the email and let people the links and let them read it?
Other
Wow.
kinds of legal confidentiality are attorney-client and doctor-patient. The document should be kept up in some way, whether that's in a locked filing cabinet or something comparable, or destroyed appropriately.
See what you've done
So that
to our
post-it note, napkin, or little piece of duct tape the youth pastor writes on that says he or she spoke with so-and-so about pornography because it has content becomes a legal document,
Interesting.
or maybe better said, a confidential document, and the youth pastor has the responsibility of keeping it confidential.
So I thought that was important.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was wrong.
Once again, there's not a question,
no, it
but
was
it's a nice clarification.
Yes, that was
So
just
don't
more
write
of a.
the moral of the story. Don't write anything down.
If you write it down, you got to keep it locked up.
Keep it in your little lockbox.
And the kind of
Yeah.
the idea was it came from me saying that at the end of the day, I will go back and I will document who I met
Yes.
with,
Yes.
or
Yeah.
not necessarily the conversations.
Yeah. It's like if Torie were to tell me about her cocaine addiction,
Yeah.
and,
Right.
and I wrote that down,
Yeah.
and somebody else read
drugs
that,
aren't funny. Drugs aren't funny.
you're
Neither
very
is
funny.
sarcasm.
You laugh more when you're on drugs, therefore drugs are funny.
We're gonna get letters. If the show is on the air, we're gonna get letters.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like that would be some surprise.
That's true. Have we ever actually gone
Letters
to a show
or
without,
emails?
Emails.
No, last night, for the first time in
Many
6
moons?
months, I was on iTunes because I was downloading our
Oh, this is brilliant.
I was downloading our drive time devotions,
Yeah.
and so I saw our little logo on the front page of iTunes.
Ooh,
So I
yeah.
just clicked on it, and I haven't read comments in a long time. And one of the comments I read was it gave it a 1 star,
Oh.
and normally, I got enough criticism in my life that I don't really read them or comment them or take them serious.
Yeah.
But
Especially
this
1 star. You know they're just shooting in there.
Well, this one was like, when are these guys going to learn that sarcasm isn't funny? The only one seems to care is caring is Matt, and no one and he's leaving. Wonder why?
No way. That review was sarcasm.
no,
It had to be.
No, because I'm a giver and I'm a caregiver.
Yeah. Where are
I
you
care.
leaving to? How come I don't know
Yeah.
about
I
it?
know.
How come I read about it on
I
iTunes?
already left once. That's hard enough as it is.
Wow.
Oh,
This is
gosh.
from Christ Martin.
Hmm.
Oh, look at
Oh no.
typo. Chris Martin, but Matt
whoopsie.
typed Christ Martin.
Whoops.
McGill,
Matt
you have been
show.
you
I've
have
got-
been out of the game for a long
Here's
time.
the deal.
man.
Welcome back.
I have
When
Christ
did
in
you
my
leave?
heart.
When did you leave
And I-
Saddleback? 5 months ago,
Five-
and your skills have.
Yeah.
They've
plummeted.
just plummeted.
Is there
It's time
much
for those skills to
benefit
improve.
to professional brand design? I'm looking into spending some money,
Huh.
approximately $3,000 to $4,000, on professional branding and graphic design that will include calendar, letter, and postcard templates, as well as also a new website and logo. We want to have all of our publications and web content to carry the same graphic theme, assuming that our budget can handle a project
Wow.
like that. Is it a worthwhile investment? Thanks for your insight, even Matt's. This is from
Ouch.
Christ Martin.
I know. I left that in.
Youth Ministries
That's a little
Director,
sarcastic,
Church
though.
Pentecostal
Oh, is that
Church,
what?
or Central Pentecostal Church, Fergus, Ontario,
I
Canada.
caught that too.
Fergus.
That's a great question. I appreciate
Yes!
it. I appreciate
And there is
that.
a legitimate question in there. That's true.
Oh,
So
there's been
sweet.
said. There's a lot of. You know what? The byline of this is just enough
Youth
ministry,
ministries,
so you don't
Feel guilty for listening.
listening.
And I'd say there's
Yeah.
been a lot of youth
Who
ministries.
came up with that?
I don't know.
Matt,
Josh.
he was
Dad
drinking.
did. You did.
No, someone sent it to us in an email, and we really
Yeah,
liked it.
we stole it, and we never gave him anything for free, and we're okay.
Hey,
with
We'll
but
give him
next
one of
show,
Jack's
50
airplanes.
50. We will
50.
celebrate the moments
And
like that.
Sanjaya. 50th episode. Sanjaya.
What if we could
and
get
Rod
Sanjaya
Carew.
Why
on
don't
the
you open
show?
that box? Let's see what's in there.
Hey,
No,
should
no,
we
no.
get
Let's
somebody?
wait for. Let's wait for
Should we get somebody
I'll
from
just
American
open
Idol on
it.
the show?
No,
we
no,
could get
no.
him to call in.
Tor.
Oh,
Don't open that. We got to wait for Natalie.
he's your
because-
dad, even on the podcast.
Okay, here's the deal. Let me try to reel this one back in, because in that box, I think
Yes.
is kind of the answer to this. Because isn't that?
Yes.
Remember several episodes
right.
ago? Look at the anticipation is building.
Yeah.
Several episodes ago, somebody sent us like shirts or something like
the
that,
worst shirts ever made.
and we thought that was such a bad-looking logo that we
Yes.
made fun of the guy, and we said, Natalie, give this guy an overhaul. So my guess is this is him sending us
something that they
something for
printed.
his
What if we
overhaul.
look at it and say that stuff's garbage too?
Wait, this is his design?
No, this
of
is
it?
Natalie.
Natalie gave him
Natalie
free
gave the guy
design
like
work.
a makeover,
Oh,
and so
okay.
A
Christ
graphic
Martin
design.
here is
Okay.
asking
Chris.
about is this a worthwhile investment? Now,
$3,000 to $4,000 is the dollar amount he's been quoted.
yeah,
apparently.
and that's Canadian money.
$3,000.
So that's like $4 US.
No,
What is it?
No, it's like 25 hockey goals.
I like that one.
I was gonna do either that or Maple Leafs. I was one of the two.
Hockey
I didn't
goals.
know.
the fact that
Or-
your mind works so
I
fast
know.
and
You're
then
like a-
discern that.
Or jars of maple syrup. I had all
Brain
three, and I just had
Okay, you
that
should've
just
stuck
Russian
with
roulette.
Russian roulette, because that's Canada.
No, like
I'm kidding. Go.
Yeah.
I would
So,
say
this is not a good show.
it's a great show. I like the fact that you don't think. Yeah,
Of course it is. I'm here.
I guarantee with Torie on the show,
I love.
Smile at the camera.
5 stars.
Hey,
See, video-
No
people
sarcasm
like that.
from her.
Earlier, I touched my tongue to my nose.
one
on
of the.
camera.
Okay.
If
Sorry.
you'd pay attention,
Sorry.
it'd be a great
Sorry.
show,
Just
Josh.
didn't-
You
yeah.
are so distracted
I'm
by
getting
Tori.
bored.
This is not. Wake me up.
These two together is not a good
I
combination.
know.
Go,
I know.
ADD means
It's kind of like when we have a visitor. Matt feels uncomfortable, and when Tori's here, Josh is trying to show how funny he is.
Yeah.
I am not.
You're funny.
You're funny too. I think you're really funny.
Okay.
All right, let's make faces at the camera.
Oh goodness.
All right, go. $3,000 to $4,000.
Here's what I would say. I would say anytime a youth ministry has the potential or
Yes.
the resources to be perceived as something more than an afterthought, babysitting,
Yeah.
average. I like to think that one of the things that we've tried to do with Simply Youth Ministry is to help people raise the bar of quality, that they could have good graphics at pennies, that
Yeah.
they could have a great
Yeah.
website at pennies. Because all of a sudden the church goes, gosh, look at that. That youth ministry.
That's sharp.
Perception
Yeah.
is such a part of leadership. And if you can help your youth ministry have a more attractive perception that might engage some respect from parents, I think that can go a long way. Now, to put a dollar value of $3,000 or $4,000, again, we don't have.
Yeah, we don't know what the rest of
We
your
don't know what
budget
their
is.
budget
how much are
is.
you? Yeah, it's
Is that good stewardship? I don't know. So I would say, I don't know. And to the dollar amount,
Right.
I would say, if I have my opportunity in principle to
Fair
make
enough.
my youth ministry look good,
Yeah.
personally what I'd rather do is I'd rather tap into a kid's graphic artist skills if he has it,
Yeah, absolutely.
and maybe do a walk, crawl, run type thing,
Totally.
and keep taking. So let's say, for
Is
example,
that a logo idea? Like first you walk and then you...
no, like if you have your youth ministry is called Frontline,
Right.
that maybe my crawl is one of the kids in my group designs Frontline. My walk is somebody then takes that to the next level. Then
Right.
one of these days
okay.
I have some finances where I can hire a professional.
Right. And it's all based maybe on that original concept or design. And
Yeah,
it grows.
I have a
Yeah.
hard time saying whether it's worth something because I don't know. Are they, could that money be spent in discipleship or mission projects or other things that might be
Yeah,
more
I
kingdom
mean,
enhancing?
And you could probably
Absolutely.
find somebody who maybe isn't a professional, but somebody who's very good with logos, brand, art. On the
but
internet,
he-
you could type in.
But he
brand.
listed a ton of stuff. I mean, he listed what he listed.
Yeah,
I mean, just
calendar,
big
letter, postcards.
website.
Yep.
A couple templates.
But
I mean,
really, you're talking about
it's-
a brand mark for their youth group, which $3,000 to $4,000 is probably that's a good chunk of money.
Yeah, but let's forget the money and just go principle.
Yeah,
I
let's-
think
Yeah, get a logo,
the principle
get an
of
identity,
professionalism.
get a rallying point. I'm all for
and
it.
and the principle of that it is an amount of money, whatever, it doesn't matter what it is. To talk to your supervisor, to get some opinions of the people. I mean, you don't need to make a committee and send an email out to your entire church and say,
Right.
do you think we should spend? But to talk to a couple people.
So safeguard yourself. So when that's questioned, you can say you made it in a
Yeah.
in a group of people with some wisdom, as
Yeah.
opposed to just running out and getting an identity.
I miss this key fob.
Do you?
Yeah,
Man, you can always come back to Saddleback.
that's true.
That would be awesome.
All right, here's
Sorry.
here's one more. This is actually a
Someday.
question. This
Oh.
is from a guy named Matt. After listening to podcast 49, wait, podcast 49. I
I
thought
know.
this was 49.
This is
I
49.
know that they
Tell me
counted
this is
zero.
50.
Maybe
This
they
is
counted
50th.
zero.
Maybe
Oh, they
this is
counted?
Maybe this is the much celebrated 50th
Yeah.
show.
What if this was 50? Isn't it supposed to be up there?
It says
It
49.
was
on the
up there
board.
when we left. We wrote the number last time, so we
Yeah.
got to remember that, and somebody
Yeah.
erased it. I've poured my heart into this. Guy
Andy.
says, after listening to podcast
Okay.
49 with the student who broke the youth pastor's
Oh yeah.
heart, student of mine who I've known for 4 years, I've poured my heart into him. I've seen him grow immensely. I was shocked to find out at the beginning of the school year that he had given up on school and decided to quit. I've made attempts to try to walk with him, but have failed. He quit coming to youth group, and now I feel that the time and the heart that I've poured into him and our relationship is just withered. After hearing the email you read, I grew fearful of maybe losing this student forever. I wrote him a letter telling him that I'm concerned for him and that he is loved and prayed for, but I was wondering what else I could do or should do.
Wow.
Well, I remember the feeling just last week when we read those. I mean, these grieve me because to invest in somebody relationally and have so much hope and prayer and potential. What I was reading in Philippians today, that I am sure that he who began a good work
Yeah.
in you will continue it until it is finished. And why are you confident? Because the work isn't dependent on you. The work is dependent on what God's doing.
Right.
And so that's where the confidence comes from. It doesn't mean that we're not hurt by these things, because we are. What could you do? What should you do? I think you connect. Hey, can
Right.
we just go to lunch? We've got so much invested. Okay, you've walked away from the faith, but let's continue to
Right.
hang together and meet once a month or twice a month, and don't feel like every time you got to try to. I mean, just love him. Love him. If
Yeah.
this guy
Yeah,
has walked with the Lord, he knows what he's walked away from.
This week, I mean, I had this pretty much happen this last week. There was a old student who's now graduated from the high school ministry, but I haven't seen him for a long time, and I contacted him a few times, tried to, and didn't respond right away at first, but not a big deal, and it was low pressure. It wasn't a deal like that, and that was the day I had the second lunch after
Oh,
we
yeah.
met. I didn't ask any questions, and I had heard some things that were going on in his life, but I didn't. So, hey, are you doing this? And
Yeah.
and he just opened up, and he just said, and it was one of those things where it wasn't even like, hey, and I want to get all better, It was just a connection. I was just there. He knows I was there, and it breaks my heart too, in that situation. But that's really all you can do is just let God be God.
Yeah, if people didn't have freedom
Free
of
will.
choice, life would be easy, wouldn't
It
it?
would be.
Yeah.
Are you quoting me back or?
No. No.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
But
I really don't. I mean, free will for me is sweet, but everybody else, I don't really like it that much.
when somebody walks away though from the faith or from church, sometimes I think they feel guilty when they see you because you represent the church and what they're missing, and so I think if you just leave them, then they're going to assume that then the church has given up on them. Oh, I was your friend when I was attending, and now, so I really like what you say, Matt, because you're continuing that relationship even though they're not attending, and you're saying this isn't about you coming to my service on Sunday night. This is about me loving you. This is about me having a relationship with you, me walking with you, whether or not you get it all together or you're a little broken or messed up. I'm okay with that. I mean, I'm not okay with that, and he knows that too.
Yeah.
But I'm still going to journey with you through this period. I like that.
Yeah.
So, Torie, how would you resolve the tension between free will and predestination?
That is a fair question. 5 words.
Just kidding.
I think we're about to run out of tape, guys. We got to be close.
Well, the last question, I read it.
30, have we hit 30 minutes yet? Or?
We hit 30 minutes about an hour ago.
I read it, and it really isn't a question. It was just somebody saying that he was glad that I went to an Assembly of God college. But I think Matt put it in here because it says, I just like this guy's name because it reminded me of my favorite TV show. Which would be what, Torie? What do you think his favorite TV show? What's this guy's name?
The Office.
Okay, and this guy's name, he's a youth worship leader in Columbia, Missouri.
Dwight Schrute. Michael Scott.
Michael Scott. There he is.
His name is Michael Scott.
Props to Michael Scott.
Yeah, the email was average, but
great name.
But great
Great
name. That's
name.
why I was in there.
Michael
All right,
Scott.
Great character.
Matt. You don't really, for this to be a good show, you really don't even need to prep questions. We just need to get together and we just need to talk and
hang out.
And Torie was here, and it had been a few days, and we're about at 50 show, and so
This is it.
give us the best idea for show 50, and you get 50 products free.
Whoa, really?
SYM
Yeah.
resources.
Is that
we
what
said
we
that
said?
about an hour ago.
Yeah.
I just wasn't sure what the final prize
Okay,
was.
so the prize is 50 free
50
Simple Youth Ministry
products.
resources.
Yeah.
For the best ideas on how to celebrate the 50th show.
Yeah.
Brazel's going to have 50 coronaries. Oh, my gosh.
Uh-huh.
See, that is the great thing about giving stuff away when he's not around.
He's not here?
He could have
You
been
know,
here.
He might not even know that we're doing this
What
until
is
the
this?
emails start to come in.
doesn't.
That would be
then,
funny.
What is he doing right
I
now?
called him today and I was like,
Is he
so I
mountain
heard there's
biking?
What?
Is
I don't
he-
know. He was at Starbucks when I talked to him. I was like, hey, are you going to be at the podcast? I can sit by you and hold your hand. And he said, no, I'm not going to be there. And I said, okay, you're lost.
Yeah, he
That
missed
is
a
his
great
loss.
All right, Josh,
show.
do you want to close it out while I answer the phone?
I do. Okay,
My
guys,
son.
thanks
My
for
son.
listening. Episode 49,
Oh.
Simple Youth Ministry. On behalf of Torie, Matt, and
We're at-
Doug
we're at
Fields,
SYM.
I'm Josh. We will see you for the big celebration next week.
Sanjay
Bye-bye.
Malakar.
Bye-bye. Karaoke judges.
And that's the show.
Karaoke judges.
Okay, great.